A lot of us, you know, we're very familiar to doing toxic shit, and you know, as bad as it is, it's home to us. We know what the fuck it is, you know, like we know what it's like to deal with fucked up ass people, and then here this nice person, this goody two shoes, wants to come around and try to love us. What the fuck are you doing? What are some of the scariest moments of your life? Scariest moments in my life. Being locked in the closet as a little kid, traumatizing as fuck. Definitely. Being locked inside the car as a little kid. And I only know about this because of pictures, but it's like outside my cousin. I think he was fucking with me. He was probably 8. I think I was 3. Or something like that. So I mean, that was scary, if you will. What else is scary? Being lost in Cuba, inside the commissary or Navy exchange, whichever it was, like, you know, trying to find your mama, because you went off and tried to play video games. Like, you know, Ninja Turtles was really big. Super Nintendo had just came out, so I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go play video games. That used to be me and my mom's thing. And you know, as soon as we walk into like a Walmart, we walk into a Toys R Us, dart into the fucking video games. I'm right there, got to have it. I had a video game addiction, I guess equivalent to the porn addiction, you know, that I suffered from in recent years. You know, I don't give a fuck about my TMI shit. But I mean, that was, you know, that was scary because of the abandonment issues. You know what I'm saying? It was like looking for your mother, you know what I mean? Scary. What's another scary thing to deal with? Thinking that you're gonna get caught from sneaking a girl over the house in middle school. Yes, middle school. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to keep up with the Joneses, with your friends in the neighborhood, talking about shit that they probably weren't doing themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those American Pie, The Wood type situations where it's like, you know what? We trying to be fresh. We're gonna try to get these girls, we're gonna lure them back to the house and all that other shit. And you know, I was, like I said, I was afraid, but if it meant being cool or whatever, you know what I'm saying, like being that nigga, something like that, you know what I'm saying, something equivalent in the neighborhood when it comes to like having a girl over and not being like considered a little kid anymore, I was all for it. But I mean, I don't advise it. I mean, my daughter's way past middle school now, so I mean, whatever she's done, she done it, you know. But if she's anything like her daddy and her mama, who knows? You know, who fucking knows? But being outside, right? And being outside and being with your friends, and they're veering off into like these abandoned ass houses where drug addicts go to get high and shit, and they want to go off and play Stand By Me. And you know what I'm saying, just like looking for shit. I was like, you know, I was like the homie on fucking What's Happening, like ready to go to fuck home, you know what I mean? Like when shit got too crazy, I was like, nope. And I remember that day because that's the day I lost my fucking house key, and that was another thing I was afraid of. I was afraid of having to deal with my damn daddy coming in the house because I didn't have I lost my house key. You know what I'm saying? And you know, my parents had a way of like making you feel shamed about shit, you know what I'm saying, when you make mistakes. So what's crazy enough is like that key, that very same key, because I used to have it on a dog tag, right? And I used to wear, because I got it from LL Cool J. I really wanted to be LL Cool J when I was a kid. I used to have my left leg up or right leg up, whichever one that they said wasn't gay and shit, you know what I'm saying? This is before now where it's like you get, you know, reprimanded for, you know, gay bashing or whatever the fuck it was. But as a little kid, you know, I had the right leg up, I had the key around my neck on the dog tag, my house key, and I thought I was cool, you know. had FUBU hats, FUBU jackets, and all that. But I think weeks later, once I got off of punishment, because I think I got on punishment for being, for losing that fucking key or something like that. I go to the park, that shit's still there on the bench where I left it. Because I think we went to the park benches first in Burbage Grant before we went to that abandoned house that's like, it was in between Scottsville and Glenrose or whatever. It's like an abandoned shit. I mean, for those of us that's from the hood and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, from our neighborhood that remember that shit, like, my photographic memory is vivid as hell, probably for traumatic reasons, but nevertheless, it's a vivid imagination, giving details. But yeah, that was scary. Another thing that I found to be scary for me was the day I got that call from my best friend, T-Dot, about the mother of my child possibly being pregnant. Being pregnant, one, and possibly it could be me. You know what I mean? We were young, you know what I'm saying, doing shit we ain't had no business doing. And it was a very, very scary day. Young, about to join the military, and I wasn't, I was too scared. I was too scared, a coward, if you will, to even go over to the house to clarify for myself, more so for my own ego of dealing with my parents, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like they were gonna kick me out or some shit, like, and I had no problem. In my mind, all right, it's mine, I'm gonna take care of it, however it goes. I just didn't want to deal with the disappointment and the shame and shit from my parents. You know what I mean? Like, I foolish believe that, it's whatever. I'll figure out how to take care of it, baby. I'll stay here. I'll work at McDonald's or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying, it was gonna be. Because, you're young, you don't know. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. I'm having a baby at fucking 18. You know what I mean? And then trying to move forth and just trying to be the best that you can be as a father. That's another scary shit right there. It's like, afraid to make a mistake as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Especially a parent that lives long distance away from your kid. It was difficult. It was very challenging. There were moments where I didn't know what to do. I froze on a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And just wanted to, I tried so hard to be the perfect parent instead of, a parent, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that was a scary situation. Scary was leaving my family for the first time for the military. Because I'd never been away from my family no more than, I don't know, all of a weekend. If my mom went to my grandma's house in Salisbury, and you know what I'm saying, like, gone for like, or if I went to, I stayed a summer at my grandma, so I'm still with family. I just not with my mom, you know what I mean? When that was a much needed break, I'm sure she needed, and I damn sure needed to get the fuck away from her. And when you know what I'm saying, and like growing up, I never been away from her that like forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is it. I'm moving away from this house, and I'm gonna be my own man. I'm being away from my father, and my little brother, because me and my brother wasn't the closest when he was younger, because he was a little snitch ass nigga, and I didn't really care for that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do teenage shit in this house, and you telling on me, playing with daddy's records, trying to sneak girls in, but eventually I got them on my side, and I was able to sneak girls in, and that's how my daughter was conceived, actually. But that's a whole nother story. But like, scary, it was scary being away from home and doing it all by yourself. You know what I mean? Like, everything was, majority just being away. There was no family near me, for at least for another year before my uncle got to the base. But it was just me out there. Graduations and all that stuff, it was just me. And it was, my family wasn't able to make it out there. So it was scary. I had to create these personas, and I had to create a survival mask in order to survive out there. So, it was scary. It was scary for me. I felt a lot of emotions. I had to pen a lot of shit in. Because the military teaches you to practice your military bearing and not, reveal so much. And even still, like in our community for men, like if you complain, you're a bitch. and stuff like that. So now I'm pushing down even harder. But every volcano, every mountain's gonna turn into like a volcano at some point. It's just it's the right amount of pressure. And I thought that I had everything under control, and then I had to lose that perfect image. And it felt good actually to finally let go of that shit. But it was scary. One of these scariest things. I mean, don't get me wrong, horror movie wise and all that stuff, some shit's been kind of scary. Like I said, Exorcism of Emily Rose scared the shit out of me. I won't lie to you. I'm all for watching horror movies. I'm all for going to haunted houses. But, I'd be lying if I said I don't get tensed and shit. But go through with it. You know what I mean? Scary. I went through a haunted house one time. It was a group of my friends from from working down at Homestead, and we went to Halloween Horror Nights for the first time. And I literally, we're walking through. I'm in my head. Everything is all about your head. You suffer more in imagination than you do in reality. And we're walking through, and sure enough, man, we get to these houses. I'm like tense as shit because I don't really want nobody jumping out at me. And this is before I learned any amount of emotional intelligence. So all my triggers and traumas is like going off in this house. And then there's this big nigga that comes out with a chainsaw. He looks the same size as me, and I jumped on my boy's back. And I was like, shit. Like I bitched up for like 2 seconds because hey, my bad, bro, my bad. He pushed me off as a white dude. Like, get off me, nigga. I'm joking. He didn't say that shit, but I say that joking all the time because it's funny. It's funny to me. You may not. Maybe it's funny to you. Maybe it's not. If you don't find the N-word to be appropriate or however the fuck you feel about it. But I always say that joke. You know what I'm saying? That my boy was like, man, get the fuck off. Like, get off me, nigga. Shit like that. Not with ER, with A or whatever. But it was a good time. Another scary moment in my life was getting on rides at Ocean City with my cousin, because he was the one that kind of broke some of us out of that shell of being afraid to get on roller coasters, being afraid to get on like what's that shit called? The zipper. Yo, that zipper is wild as a motherfucker. Yo, that shit is not meant for you drunk, because your head out. You know what's funny? I want to actually do that. I actually want to get on the zipper drunk as fuck, and see how that shit feels. I feel sorry for anybody who's in the cage with me, but just being that slizzard and being that high up, and that shit feels wild, especially like when you waiting for everybody else to get inside the cages before they even start, and then they stop you when you're like looking down at everything, and you're like, oh fuck, and then or even get up to the top, and you're just sitting there at the top, and then when them engines start revving, it's over for your ass, But I think it'd be fun. We should probably do that. Yeah, I just thought about that while doing this show. I'm gonna do that. That's a bucket list thing. You know what I'm saying? At least before livers gets bad and not able to drink. Like how I used to. But yeah, scary. It was scary getting on the zipper the first time. It was scary because it was always being built up. Like, oh, you gonna get on the zipper? You gonna get on the zipper? You gonna get on the tidal wave and all this other shit? Because the tidal wave went upside down, and that was my fear. I'd never been on a roller coaster that went upside down, but got on it, and that fear of falling out or something like that, and it was straight. But scary moments happen. They happen in life all the time. Another scary moment, I've talked about it before, being in a toxic ass relationship with a stalker. We're stalker-ish, say it. Just had your moves down, you know what I'm saying? No matter where you went, that motherfucker knew what you was doing. But you was up to no good anyway. So, I mean, she had every right to do it. It's just not a great feeling on the other side. But that's the consequences you make of being in a relationship with somebody who also don't trust your ass just as much as you don't trust them. However, scary moments of my life. That's a few of them. do people do things that they know hurt themselves and those around them? Because it's safe, man. Like, being toxic and being in fear is safe for a lot of us. You know, we're very familiar to doing toxic shit. And, you know, as bad as it is, it's home to us. We know what the fuck it is, you know? Like, we know what it's like to deal with fucked up ass people. And then here, this nice person, this goody two-shoes wants to come around and try to love us. What the fuck are you doing? Right? You're not supposed to love me. I mean, that's how it feels. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you deal with shit like that. But yeah, I mean, you're in a position mentally where it's like, man, I'm so used to the fucked up shit and I want a way out of it. Why are you being kind to me? What the fuck is that about? So thankful for fucking therapy. You know what I'm saying? That you're able to recognize, even if you still choose to continue, but I got the education that the reason you're responding this way is because you've been trained to believe that you are not worthy of love. You know what I mean? So everything that is like toxic, that does risky behavior and all that stuff, it's home. You know what I mean? Like, it feels safe. If you feel safe doing shit that you ain't got no business doing, even if it means I may die or if I may lose this person or if I do whatever, you know, it's safe, you know, like doing fucked up shit feels safe to some of us. And you know, they ask us like, why do we do things that hurt ourselves? Addictions, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff feels fucking safe. May not necessarily want to do it because obviously it's an addiction. Addiction is I believe is doing something that, you know, you don't really want to do. Like me with the porn addiction, it made me feel safe. So after a while, that's what your brain gets regulated, that I'm going to be calm afterwards as long as I do it. But it really hurts you in the end, and it can hurt your relationships. I mean, the addiction has definitely had an impact on one particular relationship. You know what I'm saying? As far as the others, minor shit, you know, but that one in particular, it was definitely, it played a factor in us. And my brain, I reprogrammed my brain to solely just live off of this, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't go so well. It didn't go so well for my relationship. It didn't go so well for me engaging with people, how I viewed women at the time. You know, I was fucked up. I was, and I'm not lying about that. I was definitely fucked up, depressed, suicidal, so much anxiety. And you name it, I was dealing with it at the time. I did my best to try to put on a good face for those around me, you know, but I was going through it. I mean, I was way overweight, you know what I'm saying? There was not an ounce of muscle in this body. I was as big as shit, hands down. Big nasty, or as I like to call myself, Fat Boy Roy. You know what I'm saying? I was Fat Boy Roy out there. You know what I mean? Always eating lumpia, always eating, you know, fried Oreos and all this shit that I had no business eating. But like that pain, it felt safe. You know, all that stuff I was going through, like we become what we think about. So if we think we're losers, we're gonna stay losers. You know what I'm saying? If you think that you're depressed and you think that, you know what I mean, that you're you're caught up in this anxiety, it's home for you. That's all you know. You've been doing it forever. You know, it's made you feel safe, and it's about changing the story. I recommend that you change the story of what you're telling yourself, because really, whatever you think, whatever you're thinking about in your mind is being manifested into reality, because we become what we think about. You know what I mean? Like, it's scary how that works. That like, if you think that you don't have confidence, you're not going to perform confidently. You know what I mean? But if you feel confident, I mean, you may still fuck up, but you got confidence. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of it, is having confidence despite the failure, if you can maintain it. Because we worry about, you know, especially in Black community, worry about how others feel about us. We always jawing on each other and shit. Very rarely try to encourage a motherfucker. Be waiting for people to fuck up. Like, people having a ball at this Jada and Will shit right now. And just tearing into Will's ass, tearing into Jada, you know what I mean? Like, we're just waiting on, on that moment. And meanwhile, years ago, people talking about, I want to have a relationship like Will and Jada. The hell you do. The hell you does. Not now. Not now. But you know what I'm saying? But that's perspective, because, what a difference a year makes, what a difference 5 years makes, right? But that toxic shit is home. Especially with Jada. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, I don't know the bitch personally, but you get what I'm saying. Same for that nigga. I don't know him personally, but everybody got their own toxic shit that's home to them. It's home to them. They really want to, it's like you want better, but I don't know what's on the other side of better. I don't know what better looks like, but I know what fucked up shit looks like, so I can prepare for more fucked up shit. But as far as like kindness and somebody being nice, to me and treating me and valuing me, number one, not using love as a manipulation tool to get what you want from me, but actually valuing me, man, it's rough. It's like, it's hard to accept that. And I know that some of the issues that I had with some of my relationships, because I was actually being genuine. You know what I mean? Like, the girls that I was head over heels over, I was being genuine with them. And it scared them the fuck off because they're so used to the fuck shit. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a tug of war. It's really a push and pull game that's going on with all these traumatized victims of relationships in life, whether that's from parenting, whether that's from, being around people in childhood, whether that's from childhood relationships, whether it's from early adult relationships. But we play this game, and we're sitting here with, it's like one inner child and another inner child in this relationship, and we keep setting off triggers and shit. You know that your inner child is in the midst when y'all both fighting to have the fucking last word, and you're saying shit that gonna piss the motherfucker off, versus trying to face the problem together. And it's like you and your mate versus the problem, you and your person you're dating versus the problem. Instead, it's just you versus them, because we're in the same room with our inner child. We're in there like afraid to get hurt, and it's hard to live. It's hard to live in fear, man. But it's home to us. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, but like learning to live in love is a transition like a motherfucker. Like trying to learn to live in just love versus living in fear. Leaving from survival mode and becoming, like taking life as it is. Learning to love unconditionally. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a tough way to live. But if you do what is easy, like Les Brown says, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So it's easy to quit. It's easy to criticize. It's easy to be lazy, but it's challenging to work through things. It's challenging to want to better yourself. It's challenging to want to maintain discipline when you're dealing with life. And like all these things come to us, and we're like, fuck, man, I really am afraid. But so I'm gonna go back to what I know. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go back to being in the toxic shit because it's home, it's safe, it's a comfort zone, and there's no growth in the fucking comfort zone. I don't care what you say, what you do. Even me, like I find myself sometimes falling back into comfort zone with different things in my life. You know what I mean? And it's like recognizing it and trying to fight through said habits, changing these habits, changing rituals, changing standards, and wanting to raise that in order to have a different life. In order to have a different life, you have to become a different person. So how do you go about doing that? You maintain more discipline. You try to be a better person, a better man. You try to set stronger boundaries with people. That's number one, because you didn't really have that growing up. So like learning to set boundaries, speak up, like, hey, chill the fuck out, you know what I'm saying? Using my size as an advantage, you know what I mean? Whether that's at work, at home, just trying to, set boundaries and protect Romy. Because no one really did emotionally. Did not protect me I was not protected emotionally. So I took a lot of shit that I didn't have to. And I'm sure that some of y'all watching this did the very same thing, and it made you a people pleaser, afraid of being abandoned, so that you could get some form of love. Love is strong. Everything we do is for fucking love. Even being in toxic shit, we feel like that is love. It's very retarded, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we did. We thought that it was love, the toxic stuff. But there's more to life than the toxic stuff. You know what I mean? There's some other stuff out there, but we gotta be willing to leave the comfort zone. So, we gotta make a choice. You gonna sit there in the comfort zone and do toxic shit, or you're gonna leave your comfort zone, go to therapy, learn different ways of living, and try to better yourself. What one question can you ask someone to find out the most about them? How was your childhood? That's it. And if they don't want to talk about it, they're saying a lot. If they don't remember their childhood, they're saying a lot. Like, in a lot of cases, something traumatic happened that caused you to feel. I'm talking about people that forget. Or I don't even know what the fuck happened before 13, or I don't know what happened before 10 or 17, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Something traumatic may have happened to cause you to want to forget shit. It's almost like, the parents, on Elm Street, you know what I'm saying, wanted their kids to forget that, they were being molested or, harmed in any way. Stuff happens, it cuts deep, it's personal. And it's supposed to be. Those feelings that we're avoiding is where growth is on the other side of it. It's like learning to kind of go through it. But that, to me, that's one question that can explain a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? If it was ever first date type stuff, and as much as I'm not into surface shit. I'm not really much into surface shit these days. Unless we're talking about that Ocean City rides, or maybe music, or sports like football or something like that. But for the most part, I am very much into having beneath the surface conversations, because it teaches me how to love you. You know what I'm saying? It's healing, whether that be somebody you're dating, whether that be your homie, whether that be hell, even your coworker. You know what I mean? It gives you a better understanding as to why they respond to shit the way that they do. It taught me a lot about myself, and it taught me how to self-soothe. Trying to understand my childhood, trying to understand my emotions, trying to understand the way that I respond in conflict, the way that I respond in confrontation, which is the same thing as conflict, but I just felt like saying confrontation, and fuck you if you have a problem with that. Like the shirt say, I'm just here for the booze. I'm just here for the booze. But it's difficult. It's difficult to kind of share that, especially with people that may want to use it against you, because we don't know people. We don't know, right? We don't know the good people from the bad people, and you want to be able to trust somebody, man. I don't want to play with nobody's story. I'll do whatever to protect myself. Even if that person opens up and shares himself with me, it's confidential with me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Fuck, we can hash out, we can have issues, and I just decide that you're no longer good for my mental health. You can assure that it's confidentiality, because that's your story. And what the fuck do I get out of telling your story? It would only boost my ego. And really, what is an ego? You know what I'm saying? I was just telling a friend of mine today, what good is it? What is really your ego? Ego doesn't even exist. It's a version of you in your mind that doesn't even exist. It's a version of who you think you are that does not even exist. And by the time you figure out who you think you are, you become something else. And but that's another story for another topic for another day. However, I believe that asking the question How was your childhood? You know, how did you feel in your childhood? Did you feel protected? Did you feel loved? Did you feel seen? Number one. Because if you didn't feel seen, you're gonna try to feel seen the rest of your fucking life until you learn that it's you that has to validate yourself. You'll take as many selfies. You'll learn all the narcissistic traits. Unintentionally or maybe some intentionally, and you'll see people. It's like, oh yeah, well they didn't get enough hugs or whatever it is. And I definitely felt like I was one of those individuals. I know I picked up my narcissistic traits from feeling unseen, unheard, not loved emotionally, you know what I mean, like wanted to be seen, you know what I'm saying. Kind of got lost in the sauce, Marsha type feeling, but it's all in your head, it's like when you equate attention to love, you get caught in traps like that, and there's more to love than attention. Don't get me wrong, attention is part of love, but it's not solely love. There's more to it. And your childhood, I believe, can help discover a lot of those things that we didn't really know about ourselves, So I think that that's one way to go about doing it. I know it can be kind of intense for the first date, but I guess it depends on the personality. Like if you got somebody real playful in their personality and they ask you, so how's your childhood? You're not gonna want to open up to them. But when you are able to make an individual feel safe enough to bare their soul, because you stare them in the eye and you be genuine, you'd be surprised what you could hear. I've had conversations with people I've met on airplanes. I've had conversations with people I met at work. I've had in my class that I teach or whatever. And then we'll get in conversation. We'll start talking back and forth, and you'd be surprised how similar your childhood is. You know what I'm saying? Experiences are, and you've never met this person until today, and it's like that around the world. You know what I mean? Like we're more alike than not. I believe. I firmly believe that we are more alike than not. And but you just gotta decide what you're going to take on. Like if you're dealing with some people and it's not really going well for your mental health, and you gotta you pull yourself back and so you'll never lose betting on yourself and investing into yourself. When in doubt, put energy and focus into yourself. You know what I mean? You're not responsible for anybody, and it's helpful. You're able to see things. You're able to self-soothe and realize that you are enough. Truly, we say that all the time, but you are enough. You don't require any outside validation by any means. Is it helpful to have friends? Is it helpful to have a support group? Yes, it feels good, but just know that it's you. All in all, it's you. End of the day, it's good. It's good. You came into this world alone. You're gonna leave this world alone. You know what I mean? And how you feel about yourself is really all that fucking matters. We've had people program our thoughts to believing that we're not worthy of something, but we are old enough now that we can unplug and you can reprogram your thoughts about yourself, but it's gonna take practice. You know what I mean? Like I think it's Bruce Lipton. If you look him up on YouTube, he talks about how you can reprogram your mind, and you can do it at night. You know what I'm saying? Listening to like those subliminal message joints, meditations, and you can really reprogram your mind, and in different ways too. So I recommend doing it. I've done it a few times. Sleep affirmations is what they are. Yeah, sleep affirmations. So I recommend that. Bruce Lipton. Sleep affirmations, and just watch how he explains that. The study of the brain is astounding. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely something to look into. It'll explain a lot of people's behaviors, and you'll recognize why you do shit, why they did shit, why they ain't shit, and it's growth. You know what I'm saying? You're learning, getting to know a person and trying to understand the person, asking them how they, how their childhood was. I feel like you could learn so much from them in that question. There's so much, you know, if they don't want to talk about it, I mean, that's, you know, be respectful and all that stuff, but keep in mind, as to, you know, a reason that they may not want to discuss that. Maybe just not yet. Maybe it's too painful. Whatever, you know, possibilities are endless, assumptions are endless. But I mean, it's just something to think about. So, but to get to know someone, you know what I'm saying, that's one of the questions that I would ask in order to learn how to love them. What was the weirdest habit you had as a child? The weirdest habit I had as a child was probably eating baby powder, eating boogers in class, taking boogers out, probably putting them on somebody, throwing them and, you know, flicking them on the floor. It's gonna be a hard one to stomach. I'm not gonna lie on this particular topic, because I did some weird shit. Earwax, trying to taste that, was tangy as shit. I mean, I did some nasty shit. But it's just another part of me. What other nasty shit was done? Like getting pimples, pushing them out, trying to eat them, you know, as like a teenager. Bored shit in class, chewing nails, opening scabs up, eating the scabs. Like, I'm trying to think what other weird shit I used to do. I think I tried to put my tongue inside a fucking 9-volt battery. Got the shock of my life. Oh yeah, Thanksgiving time. I would be the kid that would just eat fat off of ham. Yeah, I wouldn't eat the meat of ham. I would just eat fucking fat off of I would eat the ham and stuff too, but I would fuck that fat up. My grandma, I would sit there at the table with my grandma while she was cutting the ham, you know, for dinner that night, for Thanksgiving. And I would fuck that fat up. I told you, I would fuck that fat up. I used to make individual teas at my grandma's house during the summer. Like, we'd be late at night up watching, like, I don't know, probably Friday, because Friday was pretty popular at the time. It was like 95. I was like, I think 10. Yeah, I think I was 10. And me and my cousins, we would make individual teas. We'd get like the big ass, Lipton tea joint, the yellow joint, get that powder. I don't know how much fucking of that sugary shit I put in there, but you could see it at the bottom. It was this fucking thick of like straight sugar at the bottom, and would stir that bitch up and then put it in the freezer and make like an icy out of it. That was like, you know, little hood shit that, you know what I'm saying, like we used to do at my grandma's house. What other weird shit did I do? I would talk to myself in class. Yeah, when I first moved to Virginia, I would find myself talking to myself, and I didn't realize that people were listening. So all of a sudden, I get the reputation for being the weird kid. It's funny how those weird kids grow up, you know what I'm saying, and do things, successful things, you know. But yeah, I would sit in class, and I remember being in Miss Carey's at Florence Bowles Elementary in Suffolk, right? Shout out to everybody that was in that class with me. Sandra Carmen, Dante Copeland, Cameron Piper. So yeah, I think Kim Barnes was in there too. Desiree McDonald. There was Alicia. I don't know. She was tall as shit and lived in Canada, fine as hell. But she moved to Canada from that year. I get sidetracked. But it was a lot of us there, and I would sit in that class and I would sing. Oh, my boy Eric Schaefer. Actually, we were playing football outside, and my teeth hit him in the fucking head. It's another weird shit. And the reason why I got like this split between my teeth is because he tried to run up under me, and I bit his ass in the fucking head. Not on purpose, but I know he tried to heads up me, and fucking he ran into Bugs Bunny. Okay? bit his ass in the fucking head. I would talk to myself in class, and I would sing random ass songs that would come in my head. And I was saying, like, Simply Red had a song called Pleasure at the Fairground at the time. And they used to play that shit out on BET, like whatever the R&B thing was. Or it might have been VH1. Could be, I think both. Because, yeah, Simply Red did more R&B music too. But, like, I would sing that shit and I was humming. I didn't realize how loud I was, and they looked at me. They looked at me and laughed and shit, man. I didn't have no friends. So that's when I started to people please, just to, to gain friends and shit like that. But growing up, I had invisible brothers. Beef long before, my brother was born, my baby. Long before he was born, I used to have invisible brothers, and I would use those brothers to sing back up for me, like Michael. You know what I'm saying? I would watch the Jacksons' American Dream on tape. Right, that's the one that came out in '92. That was like, if you remember, it came on Sunday night through like Tuesday night, and it was an event. It was an event for us in our house, like, at least for me, because I was a very, very big Michael fan. Still am to this day, but it's different when you're a kid and you're looking up. You know what I mean? And like, I would sing these songs over and over and over again. Michael Jackson Moonwalk. I watched that video countless times. You know what I'm saying? The legend continues, and I would have, my invisible brothers in there with me. I used to talk to my toys long before Toy Story when I lived in Cuba. So, like, I used to wonder. I wonder what they would do. I wonder what my toys do when we leave. When I go to school or we're just not home, I wonder if they, do that. And then sure enough, they come out with fucking Toy Story. It wasn't for me. I don't think my thoughts made this happen. I'm just saying, like, I used to wonder that. And then to see a movie come out like that. But weird shit. That's what I would do. I guess weird things was I would be commentating, me playing with wrestling men. I would take if you was in the tub, like, I had to share a tub with my cousin. We were little, like maybe 6 and 7. I was 7 and he was 6. And it had like the rag, we all sitting in the same bath water, and I would take the rag and I think I would like drink the fucking, it's horrible thinking about it. I just remember being a nasty ass kid, like taking the rag and like drinking the soap in the dirt in the fucking rag, and yeah. Ugh. Horrible thing. That photographic memory, but that's that's what we would do, because we had to we had to take baths together and shit like that. We were young. That type of shit. Weird shit. I'm finished. Yeah, I'm done. Y'all heard enough weird shit from me. That's the weird shit that I would do as a child. Appreciate you guys always watching the show. Peace.